The army marches on. Once Muruga had gone with his soldiers to Mount Kailash to see his parents. When Lord Shiva was happily engaged in conversation with his son, Brahma, Indra and Devas called on them. O mighty Lord of the universe, you had promised to allay our fears of Asuras and accordingly gave us Muruga. But still, we live in constant fear and no end is in sight for our sufferings. Can you take pity on us now? They prayed sincerely. Lord addressed his son immediately. My dear Saravana, Devas are being tortured by Surabadman and his Asuras for a long time now, and it is high time you annihilate them to restore Indra's kingdom to him. Muruga took his father's command and started on the job. Lord made Ekadasa Rudras on his son's weapons. Ekadasa Rudras became 11 powerful weapons. They were Tumaram, flag, sword, Kulisam or Vajrayudham, arrow, Angusam, Gandhamani, staff, bow and Maruni. They adorned Muruga. While lakhs of soldiers came as his escorts, a divine chariot appeared there to carry Lord Muruga. Muruga took leave of his parents and Lord Shiva asked all Devas to follow him. When Muruga was leading all of them to the battlefield, Lord Shiva called Vayu and made him the driver of Muruga's chariot. Vayu prayed to Kandan to mount the chariot. There was hectic cheering all around. Surabadman has fallen, shouted everyone. Shanka, Beri and Murasa started playing loudly and the army marched on. The dusty wind that rose signaled the dark clouds for Asuras. Devas went near Ruchangiri. Narada came there and prayed to Muruga. Once upon a time, this Ruchangiri was a mighty king of mountains. Due to sage Agastya's curse, it is lying low now. Mayapuri is nearby and Surabadman's brother Tarakan is living there. I shall tell you about his prowess. Once he went to fight with Mahavishnu. Unable to kill him with any of his weapons, Vishnu hurled his wheel at him. Tarakan took the wheel in his hand and made it his ornament. You should kill Tarakan first, so that you can win over Surabadman easily, said Narada. Muruga called Veerababu and ordered him to kill Tarakan. Vishwakarma was summoned to provide suitable chariots to Veerababu and his brothers. Vishwakarma acted accordingly and Veerabahu took the blessing of Kandan and started off with his brothers on chariots. Asura creates the illusion. Before Veerabahu and his soldiers could reach Mayapuri, Tarakan had known about their coming through his spies. So he was angrily awaiting their arrival right at the entrance to the city. There was a fierce fight between the two armies. Asuras killed Veerabahu's men left and right, and Devas also pounced on the Asuras in great numbers. Veerakesari sent 100 arrows on Tarakan in one go. His crown fell down on the ground and he, as a wounded tiger, sent his Dandayudam on Veerakesari. Veerakesari could not stand it and hence fell flat in the chariot. Veerabahu got wild with anger, stood before the enemy at once and showered arrows on him. Tarakan's bow broke into two and so he aimed his Sulam at Veerabahu. His strength was stunning and his men had already caused great havoc on Veerabahu's army. Looking at the helpless, sad plight of the enemy, Taraka roared in laughter. Veerabahu warned him of a change of scene very soon. Tarakan raised his hand and started proclaiming aloud, Who do you think I am? I had defeated even your Vishnu. Look at this chakra adorning my neck as an ornament. He started pouring his arrows on Veerabahu, which were met halfway itself before they could reach the target. When he sent Agniastram, Veerabahu countered it with the same weapon. Now Tarakan employed another strategy. He created an illusion of himself at several places and fought Veerabahu from all the four sides. Veerabahu sent his Veerabhadrastram, and his magic was totally dispensed with. Taraka went and hid himself in Krauchangiri. Veerabahu vowed to catch him by all means possible so that he can take him captive to Shanmuga. He then entered Krauchangiri. Taraka had kept Krauchangiri totally under his control. Because of his magical spell, the whole place was dark and Veerabahu could not see anything in the darkness. He became unconscious by the magic spell and fainted there. When Veerabahu did not return even after a long time, his soldiers grew suspicious. They also entered Krauchangiri to check whether he was in danger. But because of the magic spell all over, they also fainted. Taraka thought that they were all dead and so came out of hiding. He got on a new chariot and renewed his attack on the Devas, who were absolutely unequal to his fury. When the situation became pretty bad, Indra ran to Muruga. "Oh Lord, Veerabahu and his men went into Krauchangiri and have not returned. Taraka must have killed them. Devas have been completely shattered," he said. Shanmuga himself started for the war with the Asuras. Vayu took the chariot faster to match his angry mood. When he reached the spot, Devas regained confidence and were ready to fight the Asuras with renewed strength. Taraka kept his forces under check and proceeded to face Muruga. "We have nothing against Lord Shiva. How is it that his son is here?" he asked Saravanan, knowing him to be Lord Shiva's son. "Taraka, I too have nothing against you, but you and your men are giving hell of a trouble to Devas. In order to wipe out their suffering and establish righteousness on earth, I have come. If you can promise that all of you will refrain from such evil acts against Devas, I shall go back," Shanmuga said. Taraka ridiculed him by saying thus, "You do not know who I am. You may please check with Vishnu first." "Taraka, I do know that story. You want to show me Vishnu's wheel adorning your neck as an ornament? Don't think of my veil lightly. You can watch its powers right away," Muruga said. Taraka ignored his words and started sending his arrows. Muruga also fought with his bow and arrows. Taraka's arrows were destroyed. His chariot was reduced to dust. 1,000 arrows attacked his forehead at the same time. All his armor went to pieces. Blood was flowing out of his wounds. He fainted on the spot. Asuras saw their leader fall and so fought more fiercely. But Devas maintained their stand well. The battlefield presented a horrible scene with heavy losses for the Asuras. After a short while, Taraka woke up. He was shocked at his inability to stand against Muruga. By hook or crook, he wanted to win. He started afresh with Brahmastram, Naranastram, etc. They went round Muruga and fell at his feet as garlands. Pasupatastram was next deployed. Deva shouted, "Hara Hara Shambhu." Muruga was least bothered. He took it in his hands respectfully and worshipped it. It settled down on his hand as a beautiful flower. The Asura now realized that no weapon would really be of any help. He prayed to Krauchangiri to help him with all its magical skills. Krauchangiri took the shape of 3 big forts from skies and landed on Devas. When Muruga saw this, he sent an arrow to save his men. Alas, the 3 forts were burned to ashes in a jiffy. Krauncham came over the entire area as a vast dark cloud. The Asura roared like thunder. It was pitch dark everywhere and Taraka made terrific noises. When Krauchangiri became a gale, the Asura stood there as a big column of wild fire. One after the other, magical illusions and false images created by Taraka and Krauchangiri caused panic among Devas. Muruga took his veil in his hand and gave a command. "Let Krauchangiri be broken into pieces and Taraka be torn apart." The veil began its work, emitting fierce sparks all around. Krauchangiri went to pieces. Veerabahu and his men woke up from their magical spell. They renewed their attack on Asuras. The next target for the veil was Taraka. Before he could think of catching it, the veil passed through his chest. He fell down like a broken branch of a tree. Devas shouted slogan of victory. Flowers were raining from heaven. Whale went to Ganges, cleansed itself and got back to Muruga. Sages and others sang Saravana's glory in glorious verses. Devas prayed to Muruga to give life to the soldiers who were killed in the war, and Muruga obliged them. He also honored Veerabahu with Pasupatastram, confiscated from Taraka. Muruga then proceeded southwards with his soldiers. Beyond Himalayas, when they reached Devagiri, the sun had set. Indra came there and submitted that they wanted to worship Lord Muruga at that place. Muruga conceded to their prayer and asked Vishwakarma to establish a beautiful city there. Accordingly, Vishwakarma built a city with all comforts there. At its center, an excellent temple was also erected. Muruga was seated there on a throne studded with 9 gems. He was given a holy bath with Ganges water brought along the air route. He was greeted with all scented stuff and worshipped with sweet-smelling flowers. Devas' hearts were filled with great joy. After the day dawned, all of them left Devagiri to go further south. Asurendra at Mahendrapuri. News of Taraka's end reached his wife Sauri at Mayapuri. She came to the battlefield and started lamenting his unbelievable demise. You have fallen on the ground unconscious, perhaps because you are tired after the war. Or are you taking rest? Devas, who will be afraid even on hearing your name, clap their hands happily at your fall now. Is there anyone who can really defeat you? You have earned several boons that protect you. Have they all failed today? Taraka's other wives also joined her. His son Asurendran, who had gone to the city of Singamukam, had returned by then, and he joined his mother at the battlefield. After mourning his father's death for quite some time, he gathered himself and consoled his mother. He duly performed the last rites for his father. Sauri, his mother, and the other wives wanted to join Taraka at the funeral pyre. Despite persuasion, which proved futile, all of them died with Taraka, and Asurendran performed last rites for them also. He then went to Mahendrapuri, the city of Surapadman. As soon as he saw Surapadman seated in his court with his ministers, he fell at his feet and cried bitterly. Surapadman asked him as to what happened. Asurendran said, Some small boy called Muruga has led Devas to fight my father and have also killed him in the war. Crouchangiri has been split into 2 parts. Surapadman laughed aloud and asked, Are you joking? Do you want us to be misinformed? Why do you unnecessarily cause tension for me? Who can win over Taraka? Stop the nonsense and tell me the truth. Asurendran fell at his feet again and cried, Please believe me, your brother Tarakan is dead. It is a blatant fact. He had fallen like a big mountain. I have just cremated him. My mother and all other women have also given up their lives. Devas and that little boy are coming down south, he said. Surapadman rose with anger. He could not digest the news of his brother's death. He cried bitterly, How incredible! Taraka, who was a terror for Devas, has been killed. How could this happen? He lamented. After some time, he called his guards and asked all the 4 sections of his armies to get ready. Elephants, horses, chariots and cavalry started getting ready. He also put on all his armor. Let me go and kill that boy who killed my brother, he said. Anger on one side and sorrow on the other drove him mad and furious. He was fierce like wildfire spreading all over to destroy everything. One of his ministers, Amogan, tried to pacify him so that he does not act in haste. Kindly do not get angry with me for interfering with your decision. I want to do my duty as your minister. Asurendran has just lost his father and so is in great distress. Devas have suddenly attacked us, taking the help of some small boy. I can realize your agony. You want to take revenge for your brother's demise. Of course our army is ready, but before we take any concrete step, we have to analyze many aspects. I am not finding fault with Asurendran, but still, we cannot rush to any conclusion just by taking his words alone. It is not that he has told us anything untrue, but it is perplexing that the Devas who were shivering before us have made bold to attack us all of a sudden. So, it is necessary that we get to know their new strength now. You are certainly greater than all of them, but let us send out our spies first. You should not go straight away personally. A full knowledge of the enemy's actual power has to be ascertained by assessing them afresh and getting the latest report on their movements. We are interested in your welfare. We shall deal with them suitably. If Taraka had died in warfare, he had no special boons like you. Hence Devas have defeated him. It cannot happen to you. Still, let us take a measured step and not act in haste. When Amogan gave a sound advice, Surabadman agreed with him in total. He called his special spies Bakan, Mayuran, Saren and the others and sent them out to get the correct picture. They also started out on their job immediately.